We start again with our next presentation. And this is by my colleague from NTNU, Ekaterina Prasolova-Førland. She has a long experience and very varied in the area of VR education and training. And I think the next 45 minutes is a really condensed and compact overview of all her experience and knowledge on the topic. So please welcome.
Thank you, Mikhail. For those who don't know me, I'm a professor at the Department for Education and Lifelong Learning and the head of IMTEL Research Group and Lab, and IMTEL stands for Innovative Immersive Technologies for Learning, and Immersive Technologies, as well as XR, is an umbrella term for both virtual and augmented reality. And well, now I'm going to give you a really condensed presentation about how especially virtual reality can be used for learning, and especially with a focus on both hard and soft skills that are needed in vocational training and career guidance for both job seekers and career counselors and vocational teachers. Generally, this topic is huge. We actually run our own course on the topic of immersive technologies for learning. I know that some of people present have taken this course some years ago, but today I'm going to focus mostly on what is most relevant for vocational aspects, both soft and hard skills.
Virtual reality.
And I would like to give some background on how VR can support learning. Okay, somehow okay, I have problems sharing the screen here. Okay. By that, I want to let you listen to Professor Guido Makranski from Copenhagen University, who has been doing great research on how VR can support learning and in what contexts.
Virtual reality.
Psychological approach can increase the quality of education. To understand the factors that influence how...
Okay, shall we... It wouldn't be...
Virtual reality is increasingly being used in areas such as education and work. It's estimated that already by 2020...
The questions that technology people aren't asking. So rather than taking a technological approach, we're taking a psychological approach to understand the factors that influence how immersive environments can increase the quality of education, training, clinical treatment, and the decisions that we make. And the goal is to develop models and theories that can help others develop immersive simulations that can lead to more positive outcomes.
Especially the use of immersive virtual reality in education is very promising.
One of the best ways of learning is through experiencing something. So that could be taking a field trip, that could be in a lab doing an experiment rather than reading about it. With virtual reality, we're expanding the possibilities. We're making it possible to go to places and worlds that are too dangerous, impractical, impossible, or maybe too expensive in the real world. So that could be, for instance, going inside the cell. That could also be traveling to the future and seeing the consequences of climate change.
Hi, welcome to the Rocky Mountains. It is really nice to have you here.
While immersive virtual reality can be very beneficial for learning, it shouldn't be used in all circumstances, and it has to be used correctly.
For instance, we have evidence that just putting people into immersive virtual reality won't necessarily lead to better learning because there's so much stimuli that it can overload people. So the important thing is to design these simulations in a way that leads to better learning. For instance, one example could be to give people meaningful interactions and give them feedback about these interactions. That's what leads to better learning. Another important finding is that it's important to understand how to integrate immersive VR into a larger lesson. So you want to give people knowledge before they go into this amazing immersive experience, but you also want to give people an opportunity to reflect about their experience, because that's where learning really takes place.
Thank you for traveling with me. I hope you have enjoyed.
And Guido Makranski published several papers about this Camille model, which is cognitive affective model of immersive learning. And with this model, he explains how learning can be supported with virtual reality. And it's not a silver bullet. So it's not that automatically if you use virtual reality, you'll get better learning. But this model shows that VR is especially suitable for vocational training because of the affordances of virtual reality, which are presence and agency. So these are the strengths of virtual reality. So we can put a student in a simulated context, in a simulated workplace, where this person could feel a very high sense of presence. And in this workplace, the student can have a high feeling of agency by actually performing workplace tasks and see the difference and get feedback. This shows that VR is especially could be suitable for supporting vocational training and career guidance if it is designed right. And also another point that Professor Makarsky emphasized is that it needs to be put in an educational context with debrief. That's what is done in several unemployment offices in Norway and at career council sessions, that all experiences in VR are followed by a consultation with a career council, something that my colleagues will talk about later. So there are several pedagogical models and approaches that explain how virtual reality can support learning. My colleague Hannah will talk about the DOTS model tomorrow, but one of these more general pedagogies that we often use and that is applicable to most contexts is the experiential learning approach and by Kolb. And here you see this experiential cycle where that I exemplify with kind of vocational training in the Norwegian Armed Forces. So basically what you do is that you act, you do something in a virtual environment. In this case, you are on a mission to talk to local people in an Afghan village, and then you reflect on your actions. What did I do right or wrong? For example, in this case, this person, first they send a male soldier to talk to the wounded Afghan woman. And then it didn't go well because in this culture, local women are supposed to talk to unknown men, and you didn't get the answers you hoped for. And then you try to reflect and then conceptualize, why did this happen? Why did the conversation with the locals went wrong? And then you understand what went wrong. You kind of experiment to try a different approach, and then next time you do it right, you send a female soldier to talk to the local woman, and then the outcome will be different. So also in all these apps that we are developing this project, you try something, some workplace tasks, and you see the outcome, and if you get feedback that is right or wrong, and then you try to reconceptualize your approach and do it right next time. Of course, there are many other pedagogies behind, but for simplicity, we just present this one. So Mihail already gave some examples of how XR can be used for learning. So it's basically with the XR, you can support collaboration across distances. Here are my students from Trondheim and Gjøvik working together. You can support visualization of complex concepts, for example, in anatomy. Here you see a human heart. You can support simulations of situations or phenomena that are too dangerous or difficult to explore otherwise. You can go to Mars, for example. The two categories that are most relevant for vocational training and career guidance are the last ones. It's practice in realistic working environments. In here we focus on the hard skills, the technical skills you need to do your work. And the diversity and inclusion, where you try to get into the virtual shoes of somebody else and understand better other persons. This way improve communication with other people. And this dimension focuses on the soft skills. So these two dimensions are what we are looking at in this lecture, and they focus on the hard and soft skills in vocational training and career guidance. Sometimes you also will need this dimension. For example, if you do safety training in hazardous environments, you can do it in VR where you are not exposing your employees for any dangers. So first, before I go further, are there any ideas who is the largest employer in the world? Any hypothesis? Well, they're different in different rankings. Depends which one I check, but in most of them, Walmart is mentioned as the largest employer in the world, and they have been using VR for hard skill training for their employees quite extensively. So they have certain procedures they train for in VR, and one of the models they have is what to do with if mass shooting happens. And they actually claim the last time mass shooting happened in Walmart, the casualties were low because they had a model in VR on how to avoid casualties during mass shootings. Hopefully that's something we will never need in Norway. And another project that is been quite inspirational for us, and something that always made me a little bit envious, is a Canadian project where they created several workspaces in VR to sample, to get a taste of different professions. A little bit in the way that we did it. The major difference is that they had millions of dollars. It was Canadian dollars, but still. So Career Labs VR is a very interesting project.
How did you decide which career to pursue? Our virtual reality career exploration system harnesses the immersive power of VR and has the capacity to revolutionize the career decision-making process.
It starts with the desire to explore your future. VR enhances career exploration with hands-on learning. It puts job seekers in the driver's seat, educating and empowering them to prepare for their next steps.
It's not about the exact career path to take, it's about experiential exposure.
Well, so they basically created several workplaces where job seekers could get to know different professions and do some basic vocational training, practice hard skills. What we did basically the same in our virtual internship project, which is a precursor for VR for Vet project that we have worked on since 2017 together with NAV. We didn't have millions of dollars, but we had a very great collaborators in the NAV system, very enthusiastic collaborators such as Heidi Fossen, and a lot of passionate career councils that implemented that at several NAV career offices around the country. So this is an example of what we did before VR for Vet started. Here you see kind of one of the very first versions of our Blue Sector app. It was called Fishery VR back then. We got some international prizes and recognitions for that. But apart from fishery, we implemented several professions such as Windmill, you climb within a windmill, do several tasks, then you can jump off. Something that is not recommended by safety procedures. A construction worker, just going a car mechanic, also in collaborative mode. Okay, sorry. Just showing a bit more tinsmith.
Dette en manuell måte å bøye metall på. For å gjøre dette
Crane operator. A warehouse worker. Pharmacy technician.
Plater må du først sørge for at den sitter godt inne I sporet til den forrige, sånn at skjøten.
And dental assistant, we have several other great student projects such as drone operator, industrial painter, welder, and many others. So we worked on that topic long before we started with the VR project. And the original project was evaluated with quite positive results, showing that both job seekers and consultants were very positive and agreed that this concept is and such apps should be available for job seekers, and they give better confidence in performing work tasks and give a better understanding of different professions. And also, as my colleague Heidi will talk about later, are kind of opening up a conversation in a better way than traditional ways of career counseling. And provide reflection, also contribute to motivation. So this again, these are examples of hard skills in vocational training and career guidance. So now we're going to soft skills. It's about understanding your co-workers, about communication, about being able to emphasize. And some people say that soft skills are maybe in the future will be even more important than the hard skills. And I asked ChatGPT how can soft skills be transformed by the combination of XR and AI, and I got these examples. For example, embodied learning, it's been embodied in maybe somebody else having a different role to better emphasize with different participants in the workplace. And also, especially AI, give you the possibility to interact and talk with virtual humans representing different actors in the workplace in a natural way, exhibiting natural real-life behaviors, and also adapting to the individual needs of the learner in real time, providing real-time feedbacks, providing personalized experiences, and also allowing training at a scale without doing training repeatedly for as many times as you want at relatively cheaply. So one of the major concepts that is underlying soft skills training is the concept of embodiment. And here is an example. I can give you an example first how this embodiment works now in modern soft skills training using VR and AI. So here's an example from virtual speech where you can train on difficult conversations, but also on job interview.
Thank you for coming to the performance review meeting.
Thank you for having this meeting with me. I understand that I have underperformed this year and did not deliver my projects on time. I would like to discuss what areas I need to improve in order to meet expectations.
delay?
Several factors that can delay.
But also job interviews.
Due to a new
we have
program, I had to
made
severely
a
reduce
job
the
interview
scope
up
of
for our
the
own.
project and decided which features had to stay or go.
Thank you for sharing that, Dominic. Can you walk me through the steps you took to evaluate which features to...
So in our job interview, we had a pre-recorded sets of 360 videos with the scripted questions and answers, but AI allows you to practice a more natural, flexible conversation. Though it's very important to remember that not all solutions using AI are GDPR compliant, so you really need to be careful about what solutions you use. If the providers use servers that are situated in Europe, if they are following the GDPR rules, and it's really an important issue today. Generally, how can XR be used for training soft skills? I just give you like a broad overview. Also, will show some of the categories. It's been XR been using a lot traditionally, even before the rise of AI, for soft skills and leadership training, where you can train on diversity and inclusion aspects, training on communication, especially difficult conversations and conflict management, handling threats, but also collaboration with remote employees, onboarding, disseminating strategies, recruiting staff, and last but not least, career guidance and counseling, which is maybe most interesting for us. And here are some examples of commercially available products that support soft skills training. Tailspin, body swaps, and virtual speech are maybe the most well known. They now actively use AI for the AR trainings. Again, it's very important to think about if you choose a solution, if the solution is GDPR compliant. Here's a Norwegian company that creates several trainings, and also know one of our previous students that created startup Fornix has been using XR integration with AI for training on soft skills. So I just want to stop a little bit to talk about embodiment, because it's a really central concept in how you train on soft skills in VR. And it's the one mechanism that has really good, is really well documented by extensive research in terms of induced empathy, attitude, and behavioral change. So the embodiment is actually about placing people in the virtual body of another, such that this virtual body repeats your movements and actions synchronously. And by doing this, you trick your brain into believing that that virtual body is your own. And in this way, you also can provide kind of a connection with a different group of people. Like from old times, we have adjusted by evolution to distinguish between us and there. It's a mechanism to allow us kind of to quickly analyze possible threats, because we kind of lived in some separated groups. It was important to understand quickly where we belong and who could be potential enemies. But as the society developed, this mechanism led to potential unconscious biases against other people, those who are not like us, who have a different skin color, or maybe look differently, who are a different set of values. And this could lead to unconscious bias, but by being placed into a body by the others who look differently, you can trick your brain to believe that this is actually, you are now a part of that group, and in this way you can emphasize with that group and accept it as being a part of your own group. And actually, This mechanism has been shown to been able to change people's attitude and behaviors permanently. For example, if you are being placed in a dark-skinned body, it has been shown that your unconscious bias towards people with darker skin was diminished. So you can really make people less biased towards people with a different skin color or different gender or any other differences. It also works the other way around. So if you are being embodied in the body of a sexual offender, you'll be then might be more sympathetic toward those. So you have to be really careful about this mechanism. And it's really easy to implement it. You can just have your headsets that tracks your movements. You have your controllers that tracks your hand movements. And in this way, you can have the embodiment. And most commercially available solutions for soft skills training are using this mechanism. For example,
what if
you could become another person?
Body swaps. Now, this one is equal reality, but all of them are using this mechanism. First, you see in the virtual mirror.
What if
you could become
a colleague, a peer,
a manager,
an employee,
a stranger?
What if you could experience
the world from their perspective?
To feel excluded,
invisible,
petit,
powerless,
silenciado,
alone?
What if
to increase awareness,
to grow empathy,
practice behavior?
But you need to do it right. So when Mel Slater, who's a professor at the University of Barcelona, who actually is the most prominent researcher on the topic of embodiment, he told me that many of these companies who do embodiment, they're not doing it right. Here's another example that shows how embodiment has been used for soft skills training of Norwegian officers, where you can show they first being embodied as a civilian in a conflict and then as a perpetrator to see the both sides of this story. Now they're being embodied as a civilian who belongs to an ethnic minority and they're being exposed to ethnic cleansing.
What? What was that? Maria, get away from the window!
Now they're embodied as an officer who is involved in planning ethnic cleansing.
And sometimes they need a bit more.
Like public executions.
Sometimes. It is too much, Commander.
Another very important way of training soft skills is being exposed to difficult conversation. We all have, in all workplaces, people are facing such conversations sooner or later. I know that NAV has been exploring that on different occasions. For example, handling a threat from a job seeker. And well, nowadays when you have to maybe downsize and fire people that
after everything I've done for this company,
handling all kind of conflicts is really irrelevant.
I appreciate your willingness to find a solution.
I don't want apologies. I want my refund right now.
People can choose from different kinds of difficult conversations. Onboarding is another example. Here's an example from...
Every day at the corporate office, we make decisions that impact the team members at the hotel. So we really needed to make sure that our corporate team members understand the complexity of working in a hotel. Oculus for Business has really shifted the way we work. We can truly upskill team members faster and really focus on empathy building, which was a game changer for us.
We then said we can use this tool to be able to really help our team members practice different scenarios.
I know that some Norwegian companies also using VR for onboarding. For example, Jotun has created 360 videos so that their new employees can easily explore the locations of the headquarters. But also you can use AR.
Did you know that the tour will guide your new hire through the entire company and let them learn in all kinds of locations using an augmented reality layer? Did you know?
In recruitment, VR could be indispensable. For example, if you are applying for a job where you need a very specific skill, for example, electrician working and at masts that are very high above the ground, and in these kind of jobs you are required, you cannot have fear of heights. If you have a fear of heights, you are not qualified for the job, but maybe some people are very eager to get the job and they might lie about that in the job interview. But so here's a simulator that is created for a French company, electricity company, to kind of identify those job seekers who have a fear of heights. And this is what I see is I'm climbing all the way up, and then I'm asked to let it go. And even I have absolutely no fear of heights. It was a bit difficult. So and also in our project in virtual internship, we had this up windmill where we have to climb on the top, and when we showed it to some of the school kids, we got this. Sometimes we got that feedback. Okay, that was unpleasant. I have a fear of heights. That is not the job for me. And this is also a good result because it allows people to explore what are the suitable and unsuitable career directions for them. And by using VR, you can easily identify that at an early stage. Okay, something is completely right. Okay. And in addition to and VR has also been used a lot for counseling in different situations. It looks like I have some issues with my my PowerPoint. I'll just try to. Well, here I was trying to show an example of a bit older app, but still it kind of shows the point where if YouTube is going to work, when you can train caseworkers in VR in against situations that are potentially unpleasant.
There's a real and urgent challenge in human services today. Too many children and families are vulnerable. They risk their basic needs, might lead an individual to self-sufficiency, or might keep children safe from harm. We have a responsibility to accelerate the experiential learning using virtual reality.
Experiential learning.
Can you please verify your address?
Yes, we live at 1245 Main Street.
Helping caseworkers practice making decisions in real time.
Yeah, I understand. I want to do right by now, so I can't have this keep happening again.
That is the end of your interviews. It's time.
So you see how before the AI, such trainings were typically done with 360 videos and pre-scripted dialogue. Quite relatively easy and inexpensive. And last but not least, job interviews. I already showed you an example of job interview with AI. We have created our own job interview that is available on both Meta Store. And what is useful about using VR for job interview is that you can actually be prepared for the real interview. You can improve your performance, reduce anxiety. When the job seekers tried our app, they actually get higher pulse, they got more adrenaline, they felt like it was a real thing. And then when they are exposed to that, they will hopefully feel calmer at the real job interview. And also they had the possibility to do the self-reflection based on recording of their session with the career counselor. And there have been some studies, for example, this PwC study showing that VR is suitable, efficient for soft skills training, especially at the scale when you need to train a lot of workers. And after a certain point, it's both more efficient and more cost efficient than traditional ways of training, such as video. In this case, it was diversity and inclusion training. So there's a report, though it's not peer-reviewed, so sometimes you need to take those reports with some healthy skepticism. So to conclude my lecture, generally, what should we take into account when developing educational immersive experiences for vocational training? Well, first of all, you need to understand learners, their needs, and their learning goals. And use the proper methodology. We often recommend design thinking. And there will be a workshop as a part of this training event where you'll have the chance to at least start designing such immersive learning experience. It's important to plan evaluation to see if you obtain your learning goals. And my colleague Markus Specht will be giving a lecture on that, learning analytics, after the lunch. Very important to think of ethical and privacy and health and safety issues, especially GDPR compliance. Really important to also make sure that the leadership supports your initiative. As also Heidi often talks, it's really important to make sure that leadership is on board and supports your initiative, and your solutions are integrated in the overall organizational system and picture. And also it's often useful to combine several tools, not just VR, but all kind of tools you're already using in your organization together with immersive tech, and of course AI. And what especially take into account when using XR for soft skills training? Well, there are evidence that VR can provoke empathy and taking different perspective, but it's not a silver bullet. It really depends on how you design the whole experience. It's the same if you can design a really bad PowerPoint presentation or a good one, and you can design a very compelling storytelling and with the right context and narration that really will appeal to your emotions and induce empathy. But you also have to think whether VR could be better compared to video or just regular text. Again, the measurements of the effect is really important. Sometimes you can also use physiological measurements such as pulse to measure results, something we've been using in that project with the armed forces. Well, the advantages of such training is that you can do unlimited repetition anytime, anywhere, without using expensive human resources. And you can safely train on potentially challenging situations in a right context. AI has been really a game changer, but again, there are ethical considerations. There are lots of privacy issues in connection with AI. When you talk to, for example, ChatGPT powered NPC, all your conversations could go through some servers in California, and if you're talking about sensitive issues, that they could potentially be shared with those who are not supposed to get these data. And also important to understand that when you use XR for soft skills and for changing people's attitude, the attitude change could go both ways. So if, in the worst case, if you're not taking these aspects into account, if you're not critical about using XR and AI for training both soft and hard skills, we can get some scenarios in the future when we no longer can perform our tasks by ourselves without relying on technology, as shown in this example. These persons are wearing AR lenses in combination with AI, and at first it provides this person with some useful support and augmentation for doing kind of everyday chores such as folding laundry and brushing teeth and
walk out that door freely. Talk to people.
Are you here for a haircut?
But after a while,
Yes, and a beard trim.
he gets help at every situation, every social encounter, and he no longer knows how to behave without this help. So kind of a dystopian future if we use technology uncritically. So this is basically it. I think I made it on time.